Hello, I am Cita Prasanti with the last 3-digit number is 072 and from 4th class. In this video, we will solve an interesting problem about pizza problem which is apple. Let's start our discussion about Mathematics Unit 3, apple. The problem is a farmer plants apple tree in a square pattern. In order to protect the apple trees against the wind, he plants conifer tree all around the orchard. Here you see a diagram of situation where you can see the pattern of apple trees and conifer trees for any number which is n of rows of apple tree. You can see the pattern for n equal to 1, 2, 3, and 4. That is the apple and X the conifer trees. Okay, question 3.1. Complete the table. There is table with first column is n, second column is number of apple trees, and the last column is number of conifer trees. Okay, let's solve this problem. Okay, step 1. Understand the problem. We need to find the number of apple trees and the number of conifer trees for n equal to 2, 3, 5, and 4. Step 2. Devise a plan. We need to calculate the number of apple trees and conifer trees which see the pattern of apple trees and conifer trees. Okay, let's carry out the plan. For n equal to 1, the number of apple trees and conifer trees are already done. And for n equals 2, we need to calculate the number of conifer trees. You can see the square pattern. There is 4 conifers times 4 equals to 16. And for n equals to 3, we can see in the first row there is 3 apples. And there is half 3 column, so the number of apple trees is 3 square, which is 9. And also, for n equals to 3, we need to calculate the number of conifer trees, so there is 6 conifers times 4 equals to 24. Next, for n equals to 4. First row, there is 4 apples and there is half 4 column. So the number of apple trees is 4 square equals to 16. And also the number of conifer trees, we can calculate there is 8 conifer times 4 equal to 32. And the last, for complete the table, we must find for n equal to 5, but in the previous page does not have show the pattern of n equals to 5, so we need to find the formula for the number of apple trees and conifer trees. From recently calculation, actually we can determine the formula for the number of apple trees and conifer trees. To calculate the number of apple trees, we get like the pattern which is a square pattern. So the formula for the number of apple trees is n squared. And to calculate the number of conifer trees, we find by multiply the side by 4. For example, n equals to 4. In the left side, there is 8 conifers, so 8 times 4 is equal to 32. And notice the number of trees on the left side is 2n, and we can substitute 8 with 2n, so 2n times 4 equals to 8 times n. Now we can get the number of apple trees for n equal to 5 is 25, and also the number of conifer trees is 8 times 9 equal to 14. Next, step 4. Look back the check our answer. You can count the number of apple trees and conifer trees, and you will get the same number, or you can use formula number of apple trees is n squared and number of conifer trees is 8 times n. Question 3.2. The problem is There are two formulas you can use to calculate the number of apple trees and number of conifer trees for the pattern described on the previous page. Number of apple trees equals to n squared. Number of conifer trees equals to 8 times n, where n is the number of rows of apple trees. There is a value of n for which the number of apple trees equals the number of conifer trees. Find the value of n and show your method of calculating this. Okay, let's solve question 3.2. Step 1. Understand the problem. We need to find the value of n to make the number of apple trees and conifer trees is same, where n is the number of row of apple trees, so n is positive number. And then step 2, devise a plan. We need to make an equation and then solve by factorizing method to find n. Number of apple trees is n squared. Number of conifer trees is 8 times n. We need to make the number of apple trees equal the number of conifer trees. So we can write n squared equals 8 times n. And then subtract both sides by 8 times n. So n squared minus 8 times n equals to 0 because both have n, so we can get n in parentheses n minus 8 equal to 0, and then we can get n equal to 0 or n equal to 8. But remember, n is the number of row of apple trees and 0 is not the number of row of apple. So the value of n to make the number of apple trees equal the number of conifer trees is just 8. After we substitute n equals to 8, we get the number of apple trees and conifer trees is 16. So we have get a value to make the number of apple trees equal the number of conifer trees. So n equal 8 is the correct answer. Question 3.3. The problem is, suppose the farmer wants to make a much larger orchard with many rows of trees. As the farmer makes the orchard bigger, which will increase more quickly, the number of apple trees or the number of conifer trees. Explain how you could find your answer. Okay, let's solve this problem. Step 1. Understand the problem. We need to find which will increases more quickly, the number of apple trees or the number of conifer trees. And step 2. Devise a plan. We need to determine the function of formula apple trees and conifer trees. The number of apple trees is n squared, is quadratic function, and number of conifer trees 8 times n is linear function. I think it's clear enough, which will increase more quickly. The quadratic function is more quicker than linear function. So when the farmer makes the orchard bigger, the number of apple will increases more quicker than the number of conifer trees. Next, step 1. Look back. We can find another n and calculate the number of apple trees and conifer trees, and then compare the number. For example, calculate n equal to 11, 12, and so on, and we get the same answer. The number of apple will increase more quicker than the number of conifer trees. That's all my explanation about PISA problem, Mathematics Unit 3, Apple. I hope my explanation clear enough for you. So, thank you. Have a nice day.